What is up, y'all? Welcome to the Titan Report podcast game preview versus the Cleveland Browns. Hope you guys are having a good day today. Talking about college football, that's what we're gonna kick off with. We're gonna go down the line, go to the Titans and Browns. We're gonna recap a lot about that. Talk about the Titans locker room. They're tired of Mike McCoy. Maybe we're gonna win this weekend. We'll talk about that as well. Any injuries and talk about some NFL headlines. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into anything, if you're not on your couch this weekend, especially on Saturday, I don't know what you're doing. Cancel the plans with the wife. I'm definitely am staying home all day Saturday. I think a lot of y'all should too if you're a big college football fan. Or if you have to go out, take the phone on the road, just watch these games this weekend. It's per cinema. This weekend's one of the best weekends for college football. These three games are absolutely insane. They're going to be moments until we'll see if Georgia blows out Alabama. But first and foremost, we got some good games. James Madison's playing tonight at home versus Troy. And then you got North Texas versus Tulane at home as well. North Texas, the first time in franchise history that they're actually ranked. So congratulations to North Texas for that. They're playing the American Championship game. Big 12 championship game, BYU versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech actually favored 12.5 points. Wow. We'll talk about that picks later. Georgia versus Alabama. Man, I really think this is going to be a good game. I think this is going to be one of the games of the week. How about that as well? Indiana at Ohio State, the Big Ten championship. Then ACC championship. Duke versus Virginia will be playing at 7 as well. Before we get anything else, do want to talk about the college football playoff. Fortunately, my Trojans did not get in it. No, I'm not surprised about that. We didn't beat Oregon. Not surprised. I know a lot of fans are controversing about if Vanderbilt should have made it or not, and here's my take on it. Coming into this week versus Vandy, and I had to look at it just to double check and just to make sure because I didn't want to really say anything wrong. So before the 25th, this is the 25th. Vanderbilt was still at number 14. Utah was right in front of them. Miami was right in front of them. BYU, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma. You needed Oklahoma and both Alabama to lose. That's number one. You needed both of these teams to lose. So you needed Auburn to take care of business. You need LSU to take care of business as well. Number two, you also needed to win. You got the win. You did your part. The biggest thing that I was actually worried about, and I told this to someone else, and somebody else thought I was crazy, if Texas came back in the picture and if they beat A&M, that was going to be the big question mark. If Texas beat A&M, that's going to put Vanderbilt in a more bigger hole. And that's what they did. Texas beat A&M. Texas got in front of Vanderbilt. That was going to be the biggest problem. And that's exactly what happened. So Texas beat A&M. They're going to move all the way up to number 13 ahead of Vanderbilt. I'm just going to say this first and foremost. I think a lot of fans are going to be very upset that I'm saying this. I think it's perfectly fine that Vanderbilt's number 14. I don't think anyone should be discouraged. I don't think any Vanderbilt fans should look at this and be, oh, I'm very upset we make the playoffs. No. Your head coach staying next year. Clark Lea's a really good head coach. He's really good for Vanderbilt. He's really turned this program around. And beating teams like Tennessee and Auburn, LSU, that's going to take you guys for the future and so on. SEC is a very tough conference. SEC is one of the hardest conferences in college football. The only game you guys were out of it against was Alabama. That was the only game you guys were truly out of it. Texas, you guys were out of it through the first 3 quarters, but you guys scored 21 unanswered points to come back, and you made Texas look at it and you'd be like, okay, that was tough. Texas defense is really tough. And the fact that Vanderbilt almost upset Texas on the road would have actually been absolutely insane. But if I'm a Vanderbilt fan, I would not be discouraged. I'm looking towards the future. I'm like, hey, man, we got Jared Curtis coming from National Christian Academy. You guys did a nice job during the the winter signings that just happened. And there's still be more signings, still be more transfers, more guys coming in. Vanderbilt should be encouraged next season. Vanderbilt, you're going to have a very good season next year, especially that, these teams are going to get tough. But I just think when Oklahoma and Alabama won, I'm like, that's going to be tricky. Miami, same thing as well. That was going to be tough. That's going to be really tough. I don't get Alabama moving up. That's one thing I do not get at all. I get it. Auburn's a tough place, but bleeding by 6 points, and then moving up from 10 to 9 is very questionable. I don't think Alabama's very good. I think they're going to get embarrassed against Georgia this weekend. And we're getting into my picks in just a little bit later on in the show. So that's kind of my face about that. Let's move on to the Tennessee Titans before I get anything else. So, yeah, this is going to be a tough weekend, ladies and gentlemen. We got Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders. Myles Garrett is 19 sacks. He's 3.5 sacks away to tie the NFL record with Michael Strahan that and TJ Watt with 22.5. I mean, that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Titans fan this weekend, your offensive line is going to have to step up big time. Dan Moore and J.C. Latham. Jim Schwartz. I heard about this from Buck Rising. I'm going to bring this up as well. How about Jim Schwartz as the future Titans head coach? How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, that I wouldn't mind that at all. I think that's a guy Titans fans should look at and be like, okay, Jim Schwartz could be an option. He's not been mentioned at all until somebody just mentioned him. That's a guy Titans fans should look at and be like, hey, that could be a player that Titans could target, a coach that Titans can target in the coaching cycle. We just got the who's in, who's out. I just got it up on the screen, and not a lot of players are out this weekend. So the Titans are getting more healthy. We're gonna talk about injury report in just a little bit as well. But yeah, Myles Garrett, that's gonna be biggest stuff this weekend. But I'm looking at Cam Ward for Shedeur Sanders. I want to tell you guys this first and foremost. If Shedeur Sanders wins this weekend, I'm not discouraged. The Browns have no idea what they're doing at quarterback. They're very confused. They don't know what to do next year. Do you go after Mendoza? Do you sign somebody? What are you going to do at free agency if you're the Cleveland Browns? What are you going to do at the quarterback position? Deshaun Watson's still here. That quarterback room is a mess right now for Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders is probably going to start the rest of the year. I've not really seen too much from Shedeur so far. Obviously, he did struggle against San Francisco's defense. I don't think he did anything too special against San Francisco at all. Got sacked 3 times. He did not turn over the ball, though, against San Francisco. 64 completion percentage. Only got the one touchdown to Harold Fan, who's actually, I'm like a lot. I've watched a lot of tape on him. But again, I'm not discouraged. I won't be discouraged if Shedeur beats the Titans, because the only way I think the Browns are going to beat the Titans is that defense is going to take care of business. I don't think the Titans are going to lose on offense. I think they're going to lose on defense. I think they need to be a well-rounded football team, but I think you need to play complementary football, which is the biggest thing. I don't think the Titans have done a really good job at that all year long, but I think the Titans, if they want to get a win, that's what they need to do. We're going to talk about 3 ways I want to win in just a moment. So we got some injury updates. Who's in, who's out. We do want to talk about that as well. We do want to bring up the injury report from yesterday. It's actually not as big as you guys think, because a lot of fans think that the Titans injury report is big this week, and it's probably the lowest it's been in a long time. This is from Jim Wyatt at J Wyatt Sports on X. He put out the injury report for the Tennessee Titans. The only 2 guys that are out this week are Jalen Armour-Davis, who is out, and we're not very surprised, and Lloyd Cushenberry is out this week. So those are 2 guys who are out. Corey Levin, who had a really good week last week at center, I think made a lot of nice holes for Tony Pollard. We'll get another start at center. Injury updates, as mentioned, Jalen Armour-Davis is out. Kendall Brooks is full with a concussion. Cushenberry did not practice with the foot. Everybody else is just rest. I mean, there's like 6 guys on here with the rest. Shy Tuttle with the concussion full, you expect to be good. Hooker's good with the full. Seymour DK with the quad's good. So really, the Titans are starting to get healthy, and I like to see that. I know it's so late in the season, but again, that's really good to see right there. So we also got an update from Femi Oladejo. I know some of you guys probably forgot about him. He's getting there in his injuries return. Per source Mike McCoy, there's no timetable, but he's getting there. I know he's working on the side. I know he's trying to get back. We'll see if he's back for the rest of the season. We got a couple injury updates for Cleveland before I get anything else as well, because we got a couple headlines we got to bring up as well. Cleveland is also banged up. I'm not sure about the Browns' offensive line. So Devin Bush is questionable. Mason Graham is also questionable. There's Dylan Sampson who's also questionable. Jack Conklin is out. Ryan Teller's out. Deshaun Watson is out. So that's 2 offensive linemen for Cleveland that are going to be out on Sunday. That's going to be a big loss for Cleveland. Dylan Sampson, like I just mentioned, is a calf. We'll see if he's going to go. But, I mean, the Browns are without their 2 offensive linemen. That's going to be very questioned. I want to see if Jeff Simmons can get right in there, make some pressure, Bash Joseph Day. We'll see if the Titans get some pressure and pressure Shedeur Sanders. 3 ways the Tennessee Titans, I think, that can take care of the Cleveland Browns this weekend, and then we'll kind of go to the other headlines. I think first and foremost this weekend, you got to stop the run game. I mean, Jenkins has had a really solid year. I got to pull up the stats, but Jenkins so far this year has had he's 15th in NFL in rushing. He's 758 yards on the ground. This guy's a rookie. This guy's looked really good so far for Cleveland, and I think Cleveland's running game is really slowed down a lot of defenses. Excuse me. That's why Shedeur Sanders has had a really good year so far. I think because that's what the Browns been able to do is just start to run the ball. So yeah, Jenkins has had 7 touchdowns so far of the year. He's averaging around 3.9 per carry. But like I said, Dylan Stampton, the running back, could be out. That's their second guy on the rushing. I'm also interested to see Ronnie Hickman with 2 interceptions for Cleveland. Carson Schreisener, who's also looked really good for Cleveland as well. And I think that's number one is take care of the run game. 2, take care of Shedeur Sanders. Make him feel pressure and make him get out of the pocket. You know, the Titans were not very good at that against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they need to get some pressure off that edge. I think Jahad Ward, Arden Key, they need to get some pressure in the interior defensive line. Sweat, Simmons, you got to figure out some way to get some pressure. They did a really nice thing. I said Kevin Winston, really nice job. Gets a couple blitzes in there. Get some really nice blitzes in there. See what Kevin can do. Kevin Winston, I like when he did that last week. So that's my thing as well. And that's probably number 2 takeaway. Number 3 takeaway, consistency from the offense, man. Offense needs to stop Myles Garrett. And he's going to get free a lot this weekend. I think the thing is Cam Warren, be aware, get the ball out, get the screen game working early on. Run game, I mean, we'll see if they can get the run game going. I'm honestly, Christian McCaffrey didn't really do too much last week, only besides the touchdown. But I think the run game, obviously, if you want to get a win against Cleveland, get the run game going, get Cam Warren, get the ball out quick as you can, find your playmakers early on, get Cleveland's defense to slow down, and you need to have stable drives. You cannot go 2 for 12 on third down. You need to get these drives going. You need to get hungry against Cleveland. You need to make some good play calls. Be disciplined, man. You know, get hungry. Be aggressive. Go for it on fourth down. If you're inside your own 20-yard line, do not get the field goal. Go for it on fourth down. They're going to kick anyway, but I obviously have hope for that as well. But those are 3 ways I think Titans going to win on the road. It's going to be very cold. It's going to snow in Cleveland this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see Cam Warren in the cold. I mean, that's going to be another factor this weekend. The cold, it might be a big problem. And that's me very concerned as well. And yes, I do want to bring this up. The Titans locker room seems tired of Mike McCoy. And the energy level just seems so low. Everyone looks so tired. They look very frustrated. This is a 1-11 football team. Excuse me. This is not very good. This is what Cam Ward called ass. He said, we ass. That's literally the definition here of the Tennessee Titans at the moment. It is not good in Tennessee. And Mike McCoy, obviously, like I mentioned, not going to be here next year. The Titans need to change in that locker room. That's why I think Tennessee Titans need to ace this coaching hire. They need to ace this guy, whoever it's going to be, from a young guy to Chris Shula, to Clint Kubiak, which I mentioned before, to either Mike McCarthy or Robert Saleh, or just anyone like that on that list. Jim Schwartz. I mean, that's another guy me on that list as well. They need to ace this hire. They need to ace this hire. They need to build this good coaching staff around them. You need to build coaching around Cam, around the defense, everywhere. You need to build better coaching. That's the thing the Tennessee Titans need to ace on. Before you ace anything else in free agency, Borgonzi and Brinker need to make sure they ace and get a good coach in here who wants to win and be aggressive. That's my thing. That's my whole point about that. And NFL headlines, who is leading, man? How about the freaking New England Patriots, ladies and gentlemen? How about the Patriots? I mean, holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen. They got a big win. I know New York's not any good, but man, 11-2. They rank number 1 in the AFC. New England is 5-2 at home. They're 6-0 on the road, ladies and gentlemen. The New England Patriots are 6-0 on the road. They're currently this week, they're on their bye week. What a story from Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots. That's going to be something to talk about for the future. I'm very excited. I know a lot of Titans fans are kind of pissed at me saying that. Denver Broncos, number 2, 10-2. They're also 6-0 at home. They're 4-2 on the road. How about Denver being 6-0 at home? They face the Las Vegas Raiders this weekend. Jacksonville Jags, who have suddenly came up. Indianapolis has fallen off a little bit. And they're at home this week facing Indy. So there you go right there. Baltimore is still at the number 4 spot. They're having a very questionable year so far. The Ravens and pretty much the whole the AFC North, which you thought was going to be one of the best divisions this year in football, they're currently fighting for the playoff spot. Chargers number 5, who Justin Herbert will be questionable this week against the Eagles at home. That should be a really good matchup. That's also be a very good game for the NFL. NFL has really had some decent games the last couple of weeks. Then you got Indy, again, who has really fallen off. They tied with the Chargers. Whoever wins will get that number 3 spot, and they are also 6-1 at home. So they're 2-3 on the road. So we'll see how they do in Jacksonville. Buffalo, who has also been one of those surprising teams that is 8-4 right now, currently in the league. They are facing this weekend Bengals, who Joe Burrow has been red hot since he came back in the league. That'll be a good matchup as well. Let's go to the NFC side of football. How about the Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen? 9-3, 4-1 at home, 5-2 on the road. How about the Bears? They're playing the Packers this weekend on the road. That should be a really good game. Very excited what they can do as well. The Rams at number 2, the MVP frontrunner Matthew Stafford. Currently, they're 5-1 at home, 4-2 on the road. The Rams are facing on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray will be done for the year. No Marvin Harrison on Sunday for the Cardinals. Philadelphia Eagles, who has also been the Super Bowl champion, who's also kind of had a questionable year. They're 4-2 at home, 4-2 on the road. The Eagles are on the road facing the Los Angeles Chargers this weekend. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still hanging on, and they're fighting with the Panthers currently at the moment. Tampa's number 4. They're 7-5. They're 3-2 at home. They've had better on the road. They are currently this weekend facing the New Orleans Saints at home. Seattle Seahawks 9-3, currently, and one of the biggest shockers in the NFL so far this year. Seattle's in there. They're currently 4-2 at home, 5-1 on the road. Currently this weekend, Seattle is on the road, versus the Atlanta Falcons on the Atlanta Falcons this weekend. Green Bay currently 8-3 this weekend, 8-3-1, number 6 seed. They are currently 4-2 at home. They're 4-1-1 on the road. Green Bay this weekend is facing the Chicago Bears at home, which would be a good matchup. Number 7 spot is San Francisco 49ers. You have 3 NFC West teams in here. San Francisco's 9-4, 3-2 at home, 6-2 on the road. They're currently on a bye week before they face the Tennessee Titans next weekend. And currently, Detroit Lions are currently out of the playoff spot at the moment at number 8. So we got some good games this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I just kind of mentioned a couple few right there. But, man, this playoff race is looking a lot interesting. So I'm going to play a couple clips for you guys so we're head out of here. This is currently what the Tennessee Titans feel about if they're losing. This is Denard Wilson, Jeffrey Simmons, and Cam Ward talking about if they're ever thinking about the number 1 overall pick.
I can tell you no one in this building talking about the number 1 pick. I mean, that's outside noise, and we try to block outside noise out. No matter if we was winning or right now we're in a situation where we're at a point where right now we trying to find out how to win another game and win number 2 of the season. And, we're going up there with a mindset that we're going to beat Cleveland Brown. We're trying to go 5-0 the rest of this year.
What's the value of that for you guys?
Man, the value is winning a football game and going out there to put what we want on tape to younger guys, older guys. When they coming into this building next year, we want them to see when they turn on the tape. And from when we go back when we do a lot of reflecting, it's like the off-season program. When you come in for volunteer, like the OTAs and stuff, you want to, when we going through that film, you're like, this is our standard. That's the type of film we want to go put out there. So I would say the value, no matter if it's who it is, no matter if it's a high pick, number 1 pick overall, or the 19th pick. I mean, at the end of the day, the standard is going to be the standard, and that's what we talking about. That's what we talked about today. What we want to be, what we want to put out there going into this offseason and going into next season. So I haven't expressed nothing about the number 1 overall pick. I'm expressing winning. That's the only thing that's on my mind. That's the only thing that we expressing to these guys in the locker room to go out there and get a win.
I think the biggest thing it'll mean, and that we'll see with the win, just the things that we'll have to continue to do to lead to more wins. The growth that we make day in and day out. And I just think for the building, just a big boost to finish the season out the right way how we want to.
I know you do sports to win. And that's what we want to do. We want to get a win for these young men around here because they deserve it.
As you go through and these things like continue to happen, like, how do you avoid that? God dang, like here we go again with the nonsense. Like how do you avoid that?
In my character, in my soul, I ain't changing. So wins or losing, every day that I line up, every day that I come into work, I'm coming to win. I'm trying to get these young men better, trying to get them to improve, trying to get them to believe in themselves and believe in one another. That's just the way I've been raised. There's no quitting me, and I ain't gonna allow these defensive players to quit.
All right. I know a lot of fans, since Tennessee Titans are eliminated, you're 1-11 football team, you're dead last NFL. They're not thinking about I'm sorry to tell you guys about this. They're not thinking about the draft. Nobody in there is thinking about the draft. Denard Wilson wants to get a win. Cam Ward wants to get a win. If the Titans get a win this weekend, you know how much that'll be big for Cam Ward? That would be absolutely just momentum would be building. Cam Ward would actually be, that would be something to build on for next season. You don't want to end the year on a 1-16 football team, man. You want a 1-17, excuse me. You want to get an extra win in there. You want to be good. You want to take care of these games. I at least want to get maybe 1 or 2 more wins. I would love to upset San Francisco. I would love to upset Kansas City. I would love to be spoilers against Jacksonville. I would love to beat Cleveland. I'll love to take a win. And I think the Tennessee Titans, for the momentum going on from now into 2026, Jefferson said, he's like, yeah, for future guys in the locker room, whoever's going to come in here next year, wherever we're going to be signing, we want guys to come in here and be like, hey, man, this is a football team we can improve on. Okay? The Titans have not had a good year. In the last 2 weeks before Jacksonville, Houston, Seattle, they did a really good job. I felt like this was before the 2 games before, we saw some progress. We saw Cam Ward have some progress. The offense started to look decently better. Not the best, but better. But the Jacksonville game was just so disappointing because it just felt like they just took the foot off the gas. And I'm going to read you guys a stat right here. If the Titans beat the Browns this weekend, or if Cleveland wins this weekend, there's a couple other ones. So if the Titans this weekend, somehow in some way, if the Titans win, this is draft implications. So the Browns loss increases their chances of getting the number 1 overall pick from 7.5 to 14%. A win drops to less than 1%. A Titans loss increases their chances from the number 1 overall pick. Right now, it's 47.6 to 66%. A win drops to the number 29 currently. So I pulled up this thing. So obviously, New York's on a bye this week. New Orleans instead faces Tampa Bay. Las Vegas, number 4. They're facing Denver. And we're facing Cleveland. Cleveland wins. They'll go down. Tennessee will probably go down to number 3, number 4 if they win, depending on Vegas and New Orleans. Whoever moves up, moves down. That's why I don't think the Titans are getting number 1 overall pick. I don't like to say it to you guys. Remember who was at this time last year? New England. New England was at number 1 last year. They were at the number 1 overall pick. And then guess what? They won a couple games, and boom, who took number 1? Tennessee. Exactly. So my whole point here is, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it might look Titans are tanking, but I don't see that. I don't see that from the energy of these guys in the locker room. You know, I don't see that from the guys on the field, except last week against Jacksonville. I see a lot of fight from this team, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you guys do too. But, ladies and gentlemen, I truly think that the Tennessee Titans will not get the number 1 overall pick if they get 2 or more, if they get a win or 2 here on this one. All right, so that will, before we get to end the show, and we're going to talk about MVP front runners, I got them over here, and we're going to talk about some college football games this weekend, which I do want to bring this up. This has been one heck of a show. This has been one of the best shows in a long time, and I really appreciate it. I hope you guys like the format. We changed some things up here. And we have a lot to talk about with the games this weekend. We're also going to be talking about next show about free agency. I want to bring it up next show since the show is getting a little bit long. And we do want to bring that up as well. So currently, they're talking about Troy and James Madison. James Madison favored by 23.5. I'm going to take about 17 points here. I'm not going to take the 23. I think it'll be 17-point favorite from James Madison. North Texas and Tulane. North Texas is favored on the road. Give me North Texas by 2.5. And I'm going to take that spread right there. Texas Tech, BYU. See, I truly think Texas Tech, I don't think it's going to be a blowout like they says right here by 12.5. Give me Texas Tech by 3.5 points. I think this will be a game down in the finish until Texas Tech goes down. I think BYU would get tired and Texas Tech. I have Texas Tech in this one. Georgia and Alabama, I'm taking Georgia all the way. I truly think Georgia's looking hot right now. I know Ty Simpson's been very great for Alabama, but currently at the moment, I like Georgia's favor on the road. They're in Atlanta this weekend. Give me Atlanta. Give me Georgia by 5.5 points. I'm actually taking it over here. There's actually 2.5. So give me Georgia by 5.5. Indiana, Ohio State. Oh boy. If this doesn't get much better than this, man, I don't know what gets much better. Number 2 team in the country versus number 1 team in the country. Both are undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. Give me Ohio State favored by 1.5. I'm taking the under on this one by 100%. This is going to be a fight for the battle to the very end. Low-scoring game, I think, as well. But I have Ohio State taking this one by a last-second field goal. Duke, Virginia, yeah, give me Virginia by 7.5 points. I'm taking the over here. It's actually 4.5 Virginia, but give me 7.5 points for just Virginia. Hope you guys have fun watching these games this weekend. This is actually going to be freaking insane. All right, let's get to the NFL. The MVP odds here. I do want to talk about that one as well. I know a lot of people do want to get my opinion on it. This is currently from the USA. So currently the MVP favorites right now, and number 1, this should be surprising. Drake May and New England Patriots, 11-2. I think Drake May's my favorite. Drake May's got it. I think Drake May, unless if New England does not make the playoffs, New England, excuse me, if they don't go far. But I think truly this is a quarterback award. Give me Drake May. I truly think Drake May is going to win it here. He's actually favored right now. Matthew Stafford's right behind him. It was actually Stafford, then it was May the week before. But currently, Matthew Stafford lost to the Panthers. That was a big problem. Dak Prescott is number 3. Then it's Jordan Love and Josh Allen behind him. So I think we Drake May to end the year. I think Drake May's got the MVP. That's supposed to be my prediction, though. But anyway, that's it from the Time Report podcast this week. We got everything. I appreciate y'all. One heck of a show. I cannot wait to see y'all on Sunday. We'll recap the Titans and Browns coming up on the show. Currently, this will be a late show on Sunday. Currently, the show might be on Monday morning. Stay tuned to my Instagram for more information. Hope y'all have a blessed weekend watching football, both NFL and both college. See y'all on Sunday. Tighten up.